Hey Dragon Slayers! Today's video is about micronutrients and vitamins that increase insulin sensitivity. So far in our explanation of diet and insulin resistance, we focused on macronutrients, that is, fat, protein, and carbohydrates. There is equivocal evidence on a myriad of micronutrients or minerals, vitamins, and other molecules in the diet. The majority of these compounds have no effect on insulin sensitivity, but a handful have been found to have a positive results that are worth mentioning. If you feel it would help, consider taking these supplements, though it will in no way compensate for an unhealthy diet. Macronutrients matter far more than micronutrients. So, first up is magnesium, which is only obtained in the diet from leafy greens, nuts, and seeds, has generally positive reports with insulin sensitivity. Multiple studies indicate that people with insulin resistance have lower levels of magnesium. In a well controlled study, subjects received 4.5 grams of magnesium per day for 4 weeks, were more insulin sensitive compared with the control group. A somewhat similar study followed subjects with type 2 diabetes for 16 weeks and again saw improvements in insulin sensitivity. As evidence of just how beneficial it may be, it appears to even help lower insulin in subjects without diabetes. Chromium is a rarely mentioned mineral whose main dietary source are green beans, broccoli, nuts, and egg yolks. With 6 weeks of taken oral chromium, 400 UG, which is micrograms a day, insulin resistance was significantly improved among a group of patients with type 2 diabetes. The improvement was maintained throughout the remaining 6 weeks of the study. Once the chromium supplement was ceased, the patients lost the improvement in insulin sensitivity within just a few weeks. So, cysteine is a non essential amino acid. Cysteine can be made in the body if there are sufficient levels of other amino acids. Primarily, food sources are meat, eggs, peppers, garlic, broccoli, and a few others. Because the data in humans is limited, a rat study is necessarily insightful. Rats were placed on a high sucrose diet for 6 weeks and received a low 5.8 grams or a high 20-gram dose of cysteine. As expected, the high sucrose diet caused insulin resistance and oxidative stress. However, the high cysteine supplement was sufficient to prevent the increase in insulin. Calcium. When it comes to minerals, many are tempted to claim calcium as the winner for improving insulin sensitivity. However, the results aren't so clear. Most of the studies that report a benefit to calcium consumption build the claim based on study subjects consuming more dietary, and the studies looked at calcium alone report no insulin sensitizing benefits. Dairy and its various fats, proteins, and carbohydrates may be helpful, and the calcium may simply be an artifact. In a group of obese subjects, increasing calcium intake to 1,200 milligrams a day by increasing dairy consumption reduced insulin by 18%. However, by placing study subjects on high dairy diets without calcium supplementation, the high dairy group experienced a remarkable 44% drop in insulin. Though the group with calcium had no improvements and no longer and in a longer study that tracked overweight subjects for 10 years, the subjects that consumed the most dairy products had the lowest risk of developing insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Vitamin D. We typically think of vitamin D in the context of bone health, but it's much more complicated and beneficial molecule than most people think. People who are deficient in vitamin D, in addition to other disorders, will often develop insulin resistance. In fact, the risk of developing insulin resistance is 30% higher than normal. The solution is simple, of course: supplementing 100 IU's of vitamin D. Um, I said it's 100 micrograms of vitamin D, which is 4,000 IU's per day, for just a few months is enough to improve insulin sensitivity back to normal. Other than supplements, great natural sources of vitamin D include fatty fish like tuna and salmon, egg yolks, as well as cheese. Lastly, we have zinc. Zinc is commonly consumed in red meat and, to a lesser degree, poultry. In a study in insulin resistant patients, found that taking just 30 milligrams of zinc daily for 6 months had a significant improvement in glucose and insulin sensitivity compared with the placebo group. However, similar studies have revealed no effect. So, that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.